Hi everybody and welcome to my studio. Today I am super excited to share this with you what I did for this page. This is day 63. So I just have an image here from a catalog, and this is a tea bag that I had emptied out, and it is dried. It does have a little hole there in the middle. So what I have here now is some golden, golden soft gel gloss. I have matte, and I opened it up and there was not that much left in it and it was completely dried up. So I thought, you know what, I will use the gloss, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So I'm just putting on a pretty decent layer of this medium onto this image from a catalog. And what I am going to try to do is an image transfer onto this tea bag. So I was trying to figure out what to do for the page for that day, and I had this tea bag that was sitting on my desk that I had emptied out a couple days ago because I had emptied out 2 on day 57 for that video, and so I still had this one laying on my desk and I wasn't sure what to do. And I thought, you know what, for some reason it just came to my mind, I wonder if I can do an image transfer on here. And right here, I just patted the tea bag down into the glue and made sure that it was adhered onto the magazine really well. And the gloss gel does soak through the tea bag. So I was hoping that that might help make the tea bag a bit stronger so that it would be able to handle my rubbing off the image. So I'm just letting it dry here. And so anyways, I thought, you know what, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's going to be fun to try. If it doesn't work, then all I do is just throw it in the trash. It's an old tea bag. I have plenty of tea bags sitting around. It's a magazine image. I have 5 million magazine images sitting around. So I was kind of a what have I got to lose mindset that I went into with this. So now I'm just tearing off the extra paper from around it, and on the other side were these really cool watch faces, and so I am cutting out all of those pieces and putting those in my little dish that I call my dish o' scraps. And a lot of times if I don't have an idea for a page, I grab this dish and it just has bits and pieces of images left over from other pages that I've created in this, and I sometimes just kind of go through that and use those to create a page. Actually, the page right before this one, day 62, that's what I did. So now I am flipping it over, and I have the magazine image side up, and I'm just going to squirt it really good with water. And this is where I thought, okay, this is going to work or it's not going to work, because I just really wasn't sure if the tea bag was going to be strong enough for me to rub off all of this paper. So what you do is you just squirt the paper really well with water and let the water soak in, and then you just gradually start rubbing on the paper, and it will eventually start coming off, and it leaves the image that is glued face down onto the gel medium. It leaves that on what you are adhering it to, which in this case is a tea bag. So you just really gently rub it. You keep adding a little bit of water. You rub it a little bit. You add some more water. And eventually, as the paper starts getting more wet, it will start pilling up under your finger, and you can feel it starting to pill up. And then I just kind of start rubbing it around and using the bits of paper that come off. They actually kind of start helping pull up the paper that is on the tea bag. So you can see that it's starting to come up really well there, and we can see her face. So right now I was actually getting really excited because it seemed to be working. So I just keep on just gently rubbing and adding more water and gently rubbing, and it's all those, you can see the paper just kind of coming off there. And there's her face. There's still a lot of white and it's still really hazy looking, and that's because there's still quite a bit of paper left on there. And I just really was unsure as to how much rubbing I could get away with. The tea bag was really, I was really surprised that, how strong it was during all this and seemed to be tolerating all of the rubbing that I was doing. So now I'm just going to try to get the rest of the image off, and just more water and just rubbing it, and this part starts coming off really nice. I wasn't as concerned about getting all of the image off down on her body off as well. I just wanted to for sure have her face so that I could see her face. So just more rubbing, and I pretty much left the bottom there. I kind of liked how it got lighter, how it was more white down at the bottom. And there you can see that the bottom, it almost kind of looks like it was, I don't know, kind of dipped in paint or something. So I just am still trying to get her face as clear as I can. I'm hoping that my kids are sleeping in, so I'm trying to speak quietly and not wake them up, but I knew that I needed to do a voiceover for this one just to kind of explain what was going on, since this was something that I have never tried before. I know that if you go to Pinterest and you search on teabag art, you will find some absolutely amazing art that people have done on tea bags, just painting and drawing. So now I decided to go ahead and try this and just kind of see where I'm at. And as you can tell, she just totally just went white there. There's still quite a bit of the paper left on the tea bag. And I'm just kind of, as I'm drying this, I'm just kind of trying to decide, should I keep on trying to rub this? Is this going to work? Because down at the bottom you can see how it's just completely white now with all of the paper that I had left on there. So she's pretty hazy, but I kind of like it. I liked that you could tell that she's there, but she's, it's, I don't know. I just really like the look. So now what I decided to do is, as I was drying it, I thought, when it was wet, I could see her face a whole lot more clear. So I decided to grab the soft gel again and just put a layer of that onto the tea bag to see if that would pull her forward a little bit. And there she is. Now you can see her face really, really well. I've got this little crummy kid's paintbrush that I'm trying to use, and it's leaving little pieces of the bristle, whatever that brush is made out of. It's getting all stuck in my image there. But I really liked how it kind of pulled the gel, putting that on there. It soaked into the tea bag and just pulled the image out. But it also it covered it with the gel, and it's just one more little bit of something to kind of make the tea bag a little bit more stronger. So I'm just drying it to see if that worked and to see if she fades away again, which she doesn't. And I just really, really love how this turned out, and I can't wait to try to do some more and just see what the results are using different types of magazines and different things like that. So there she is. And now I think I'm ready to start putting her on the page. The back looks kind of cool too. It's got the seam from the tea bag there. And so I decided to tear off the bottom and just kind of make it a little bit more to where it would fit onto the page on my moleskin. And so now I really just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this as far as adding elements to it. So I've got my tin here, and it is full of just more botanical type images. There's a lot of the Tim Holtz die cuts and florals that are cut out from different books, different books that I have and ones that friends have given me. And I'm just kind of flipping through here and seeing, you know, I'm just kind of pulling out whatever just appeals to me at the time. And as I had her laying on that image there with the flowers, I noticed that you could see the image through onto her face, and it wasn't in an appealing way. It wasn't. I think maybe if it was a different kind of image, it would look neat with the image from the other paper showing through that. But since it was her face, I didn't like that, so that's why I decided to not use that floral bit of paper. And so this is the bottom of the tag that I had ripped off, and I just thought that might look kind of neat added on there. And as I was moving that around, I noticed that whenever I had that bit up closer to her face, that it lightened her face up even more. So I reached into my trash can and pulled out a piece of paper, just white piece of paper, and I'm tearing that to fit around on her face. And I'm just going to glue that on the back, and that just kind of keeps a nice white background right behind her face, so that it just helps keep her more clear, because since I knew I was going to be placing this onto my journal page and those pages are lined, I was concerned that the lines would show through on her face, and I just really didn't want that to happen. And so now it's just a matter of putting all those elements together and just making them work. So I just kind of move things around. I grabbed this piece of torn paper. This is actually from the packaging, the box that I used on day 58. When I opened up that box, some of the box started tearing, and I just pulled off those pieces of paper and put them in one of my other little dishes of scraps. And I liked the look of the paper. I like the color. And it's just they're fun. Little pieces like that are just fun to use when I'm layering things on my pages. So I'm just going to use glue stick and start sticking stuff down. In this case, I like using a glue stick because with the Elmer's Extreme glue sticks, which is what I use, they don't dry immediately. So it gives me time to peel things back apart, to move things around, to slide things around into position to where I want them. So that's why I'm using the glue stick. If I had used the mono adhesive in this case, I would have struggled, because a lot of these things that I am putting on here, I kind of I start them in one area and then I slide it around to where I like the way that it looks. And if I had used that mono adhesive, as soon as I would have put the pieces together, they would have not moved again, not without tearing something. So I'm just kind of gluing things on and scooting them around until they are where I like them. And then this floral piece, it's a Tim Holtz die cut. Whenever I had first pulled it out, I pictured it on the other side of her. And as I was looking at it, I noticed that it had little stems down at the bottom. It has an obvious top and bottom. So everything is on this side of her. Whenever I first kind of started pulling out, I had everything envisioned on the other side. So then I have the little tag bit here, and I wanted to leave it on, but I wanted to do something different with it. And I had that butterfly sitting there, which is also from Tim Holtz, and I decided to glue that onto one side of the little tag. And I got a bit too much of the mono adhesive on the top of that tag, so luckily you can kind of, if you're careful, you can rub off that extra glue. So that's what I'm doing there. One of my children's up now, so if you hear some rattling, that might be them. And then I thought it would be neat to put something on the other side of the tag instead of, because I like adding phrases from books that I find onto all of these pages. And instead of putting it on the tag, on the image with the girl, I thought it might be kind of fun to put it on the tag. So I've just got a Stephen King book that I picked up a few weeks ago at Half Price Bookstore for $1. It's nice and thick, and I thought, well, it's Stephen King, and he's one of the best fiction writers out there, and I knew he was very descriptive in his writing, so I figured that there would be a good selection of words and phrases that I could use to pick out, for my pages. So I'm just taking the glue stick, and when I flipped this over, I saw the Yogi Tea logo, and I was like, ugh. And I didn't want to try to cover it up with paint. I thought for a minute about just tearing that bit off, and I was afraid that it would eventually, if I did that the string might come off. So I just grabbed a piece of that torn up brown paper from the packaging and just stuck it on there to cover up the logo. And this just says, "Yes, she said," and I don't know why I picked that. I was just looking through the book, and for some reason, it's what stuck out to me, and it was small enough, so I cut it out and stuck it on there. And I just decided to glue those two bits together because I didn't like how it was open. And now I'm just going to glue it onto the page. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I had a load of fun doing this, and just, all I can say is if you have an idea that comes to your mind and you think, ugh, this isn't going to work, and well, I'm going to waste this, and I'm going to use, what I was thinking was I'm going to waste this tea bag, I'm going to waste a magazine page. It doesn't matter. You need to try it. Try these little things that come to your head, because you'll be so surprised at what you can create when you just try something new. Thanks, everybody, and I hope you're enjoying all these. We're about 3/4 of the way through. Bye.